I am your father.
Welcome back to another episode brought to you by Game Glitches. Today I decided to do something new and different and to take a look at a brand new game, Star Wars Battlefront, that's currently out right now in beta, and I actually wanted to do a full game review, at least, you know, the best what I can do. Haven't really done those a lot in the future, mostly guides, so why not? Let's give it a crack, right? Now, let's quickly take a look at the content currently available in beta and then quickly jump to the issues and things that I found were good and bad with the game. First of all, let's take a look at the missions. You only have one mission available under Survival. As you could see here, Survival to Win. It's a very nice survival mission which you could play as single player or as a co-op. Unfortunately, it's only available in normal mode. Now, also then you have multiplayer. You have two maps. One is Drop Zone, one is Walker's Soul. This is more of a tropical slash mountainy type of a mountain. This one is basically Hoth. This is a frozen ass wasteland with 40 people, flying vehicles, heroes, and so on. This one is slightly smaller. It got only up to 16 people. Unfortunately, all the other ones are unavailable, as you could see in beta, but will most likely be available upon release. Now, let's take a look at what you have. Unfortunately, you can't unlock any appearances. The appearance that you get is basically the random. You do get a choice of 4 different blasters that you can purchase. These are the secondary abilities, like, for example, your hand grenade, your cycle rifle, which is actually ridiculously overpowered right now. One headshot, a shot to the head, instant kill. A shot to the body does 90% body damage, which is actually quite amazing. The vehicles are kind of fun in the game.
Rebel uplink is offline. Proceed as ordered.
Vehicles, of course, look a little glitchy when they look around. As you could see, his gestures and motions are not very smooth the way they should be. It looks like there's a frame issue, you know, when he's looking around. He looks a little choppy. You know, being stuck on slopes like this is quite a problematic, especially as you could see, you should be able to easily get up of it. What I also noticed about this game is that the HP bar at the bottom is way too huge. The kill display is located at a kind of weird place. It's kind of with the chat on the right hand corner. As you could see, you know, who killed who. That's, they could have placed it at a much better place, honestly. Also, while you're playing in a third-person view, you have a much higher advantage than playing in a first-person view. You don't get any of that recoil and blurriness when you shoot at things, and your aim is much more direct, as you could see. Another major issue that I've noticed in this game is that there's a severe lack of communication between party members. Nobody really talks or gives any kind of missions. It's just the computer just tells you what's going on, you know? If you're not a fan of Frost maps, of course you could, you know, always play on more of a swampish type of a map, you know, where things are like crawling. And of course you have to secure, this mission is to secure the pods. There are also very interesting traps in this game, like, you know, you step into things and you start taking damage, or things start attacking you, or you start dying real rapidly. which is actually quite interesting. Puts more, you know, more things into the game. There are, of course, very interesting characters. You know, you have your Darth Vader here. As you could see, they're okay of a character. They kind of walk a little weird. You know, he's not really doing that. I'm, you know, reflecting your blast thing. When Darth Vader dies or a character gets defeated, they kind of get like all glitchy and stuff. They start to kind of spaz out. Ooh, and of course I'm killed. When you are a hero yourself, on the other hand,
You will know the power of the dark side.
you yourself could obviously have fun. Though, you know, having ability to reflect things would have been nice.
Your death, then the rebellions. Die with your rebellion. 151 will all die.
When you get defeated, you kind of like sit down and the game is like throws you back to your character, you know, which is kind of interesting. But I wish as a Darth Vader you were able to like do things more agile. It seems that your character feels extremely heavy. The jumps don't feel natural. It feels like you're like on the moon, like the gravity is affecting your jumps, you know. And on top of that, when you spawn as a hero, you tend to spawn all the way at the end of the battle.
Your feeble defense is irrelevant.
Another demonstration of a wrong camera position. As you could see, I'm looking at one place, shooting slightly below it. Also, sometimes this blinking happens, where when you get into the vehicle, it's like turning black and white. I'm actually gonna check the video afterwards, cause right now it's happening for me. There's basically a problem with these frames, the blinking. See, as I'm trying to shoot for him, the damage, the shooting seems to be going at much lower angle. It's like shooting right below. I mean, this one, yeah, it also shoots right below the axis. It's definitely the camera positioning. While working with several different engines, you know, I found that the camera positioning behind the character is extremely important. That without it, honestly, if you don't do it right, the accuracy of the character will become severely hindered. Playing on mechanical robots and vehicles like this is kind of fun, but the fact that they seem to be not have proper accuracy, and you know, in all reality, they could have made this a lot more fun. They're not like vehicles that, you know, you could just pick up. You find them as buffs on the floor that you just pick up off the floor and then you just turn them on. I don't really kind of like that. I would rather prefer for them to be like vehicles like that would just spawn and you can get into. But you know what? That's my personal opinion. Also, another problem that I found that I've had an issue with is that when you're looking at the exit, it's extremely bright. It's very, very hard to see who is coming in. When you come out, it takes a moment for the light to readjust itself. I don't think this is how it should be. And when you're looking inside, it's extremely dark. They should really adjust the shading on that. Another little issue that I have with this game is the fact where the kills thing goes on the right hand side. When I talk and stuff like that, if on somebody else talks, it appears also in the same area, sometimes becoming hard and confusing to distinguish which one of these things is actually a kill or when somebody is talking. Also, it'd be nice to know how did somebody kill somebody, if it was with a grenade or if it was with a headshot or something. It just really just tells you who died and who killed them. That's pretty much it. Well, which I found a little bit, you know, sad considering the fact that this is Star Wars and the amount of money they put into this. This shit just should have a replay camera, 3D view, or schematics, a fucking pie chart of how you fucked up, you know, everything. This is Star Wars, for Christ's sake. Also, the partner things are kind of cheesy, allowing people to spawn behind enemy lines. And then just kind of sit back here and just pick them off as they spawn and stuff like that. You know, kind of giving you a massive advantage on attacking people. The shields seem to be ridiculously overpowered within this game, allowing the person to survive severe amount of damage. I feel like people are gonna just use that to their advantage constantly. It'd be nice if when the walker becomes vulnerable that the opposing party could see, you know, where the weaknesses are rather than all over him. You know, in reality, let's face it, his head or his joints are much weaker than his armor protected portion of him. Another thing that I've noticed that the map is so huge and that in a way it feels that you're spawning at random location. That you're never like, you know, truly just spawning in one spot. Sometimes I actually even ending up behind my opponents. It was kind of a weird and funny situation because they would all rush in front of me and I would just turn around and shoot them all in the back. And, you know, they will be all like wondering, all kind of jumping up and down, all confused, wondering how the heck did I end up there? You know, and I would wonder the same thing too in the process. That's the funny thing, you know. Another interesting thing that I noticed that you can combine abilities and like a little bit exploit it. Like putting up this force field around your turret and shooting from inside of it. Where they can't shoot you back, but you could definitely do damage to them. Yeah, I would really like for them to allow you to at least start between multiple partners. You know, a select between more than one, maybe 2 or 3. Just having one that you rely on is quite actually annoying. Another annoying thing is that when you're flying, they separated a lot of the controls between the arrow keys and ASDW, which actually becomes a little bit much more hard to control because you also need to literally use a mouse. You don't have a third hand, you know, to have 100%. They're kind of forcing you to use a joystick. Without it, it's nearly impossible. Another annoying portion that I found is that it's impossible to skip this scoreboard. Escape, enter, space, everything doesn't seem to work and it becomes a little annoying. I wish they would implement some kind of a feature that would allow you to skip this, you know, or just do instant calculations rather than giving you these animations. I mean, but that's just my personal opinion. In all reality, I feel that this game is currently about 3 out of 5 stars, and I'm being very generous. I would explain my decision. This is not just, you know, just out there for no reason. You have to understand, this game is being developed by a conglomerate of EA Games and DICE, and BioWare, you know, and a bunch of other ones are being involved in here. And plus, it's a Star Wars title. This is a massive title that we're talking about, and the amount of effort that they have put into it it doesn't seem like it deserves its name Star Wars. It feels like somebody from a Kickstarter company on one of Kickstarter.com decided to make a Star Wars game, and they actually made this. In some realities, I've seen more better games made from Kickstarter than I've seen here. You know, this is kind of upsetting that they've spent all this time, this money, this name behind it, and they've barely developed anything so significant. There's nothing revolutionary, there's nothing new, there's nothing amazing. You know, there could be a lot more stuff involved within the game. Thank you all for checking out my in-depth review on Star Wars Battlefront. I hope you found it helpful and informative. Please let me know what you think about the game and what you think about my review in the comment section below. I would really appreciate it. As always, don't forget to click like, subscribe to the channel, and of course, I'll see you all in the next video.